Hello everyone, welcome back to English Only Zone. Today I am back with another video on a poem written by Robert Southey. The name of the poem is After Blenheim. After Blenheim is an anti-war poem which was written on the theme of a war which was fought in Blenheim on 13th of August 1704. This war killed thousands of people and many thousands were injured. So let us study this poem. In this poem there is an old man, a grandfather and his grandchildren, a granddaughter Wilhelmine and a grandson Peterkin. Peterkin found something large round while playing in the fields, and so he came to his grandfather bringing that large round thing to him, asking what was that. Let's read the poem and understand it in a simple manner. It was a summer evening. Old Caspar's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun. And by him spotted on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. So it was a summer evening. Old Caspar, who was the grandfather, his work was done. He was a farmer, he used to plough his fields, and so his ploughing work was done. And he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun. He was sitting in the evening sun in front of his cottage door. And by him spotted on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. And by him, near old Caspar, his granddaughter Wilhelmine was playing in the green field. Here green represents green fields. She saw her brother Peterkin roll something large and round, which he beside the rivulet in playing there had found. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. So now Wilhelmine was playing near her grandfather, and she saw that her brother Peterkin, who was playing beside a rivulet. Rivulet means a small river. So she saw that her brother Peterkin was rolling something which was large and round in shape. So Peterkin was also very curious to know that what was that thing which he had found there and with which he was playing. So he came to his grandfather to ask what was that thing which he had found, which was so large, it was smooth also in texture, and it was round in shape. Old Caspar took it from the boy, who stood expectant by, and then the old man shook his head, and with a natural sigh, "It's some poor fellow's skull," said he, "who fell in the great victory." Old Caspar took that thing from the boy. When the boy Peterkin came to his grandfather, he brought that thing and asked him what was that which he had found while playing near the river. So old Caspar took that thing from the boy, and boy was waiting for the answer. Peterkin was waiting for the answer from his grandfather. And then after looking at the thing, the old man shook his head. He was feeling a bit sorrow, and with a natural sigh, with a deep breath, he said, "It's some poor fellow's skull." That it was the skull of a soldier who died in the great victory. That soldier's skull. And that soldier died in the great victory which they had got in the battle of Blenheim. I find them in the garden, for there's many here about. And often when I go to plough, the ploughshare turns them out. For many thousand men, said he, were slain in that great victory. The grandfather said that he finds them in the garden, for there are many about in the garden. So he said that while plowing the fields, while plowing the garden, he finds many such types of skulls, because there are many skulls lying under the mud of that field. And whenever he go to plow, his plowshare turns the skulls out from the mud. For many thousand men, said he, were slain in that great victory. He further said that many thousand men were killed in that great victory. More than lakhs of soldiers fought that war. More than lakh of soldiers fought that war and many thousand were killed. Now tell us what's all about. Young Peterkin, he cries. And little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. Now tell us all about the war and what they fought each other for. So Peterkin asks his grandfather to tell him what was all about the war fought. What was the reason behind that war? And little Wilhelmine was also waiting for the explanation of that war from her grandfather. Her eyes were full of wonder that why that war was being fought. Now tell us all about the war and what they fought each other for. She says that tell us everything about that war and also tell us the reason behind it, why the war was fought. It was the English, Caspar cried, who put the French to rout. But what they fought each other for, I could not well make out. But everybody said, quoth he, that it was a famous victory. Now Caspar cried when Wilhelmine asked her grandfather that why they fought that war, the reason behind that war. The old Caspar said that it was the English, it was their country. These were English people. So he said that it was the English, their country, who put the French to rout. Rout means defeat. It was the English soldiers, who defeated the French soldiers. And what was the reason behind their war? I could not well make out. He did not know why the war was fought. But everybody said that it was a famous victory. Quote means said. Quote means said. So he said that everybody say that it was a famous victory, it was a great victory, but I don't know the reason behind it. So you can see that the common people don't even know the reason why the wars are being fought. And they are the main sufferers. If any mishappening occurs in the country, if any war is fought in the country, the common sufferers are the common people. The same we can see in the war of Ukraine. The common people are the maximum sufferers. My father lived at Blenheim then. Yon little stream hard by. They burnt his dwelling to the ground and he was forced to fly. So with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. He said that his father lived at Blenheim then. Now old Caspar remembers his childhood when he was a child and his father used to live in Blenheim. He used to live with his family in Blenheim only, where the war was fought. Yon little stream hard by. Yon means that. Little stream hard by. He said that he used to live near that stream only, where the boy had found that large round skull. They burnt his dwelling to the ground. He further says that they here represents the soldiers. The soldiers burnt his dwelling. Dwelling means house. To the ground. It means his house was burnt down to ashes. And he was forced to fly. He was forced to flee from there. He was forced to run away from there. So with his wife and child, he fled. So old Caspar's father, along with his wife and child. Who was the child at that time? Old Caspar was the only child. And they had to fled from there. They had to run away from there. Nor had he where to rest his head. Also, they did not get any place to rest their head, to find a shelter. With fire and sword the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then and newborn baby died. But things like that, must be at every famous victory. Now he further says, with fire and sword the country round was wasted far and wide. Everywhere there was destruction, everything was destroyed, the monuments were destroyed, the houses were burnt. So everywhere there was destruction in the country with fire, sword, the people were killed with sword, the monuments, the buildings, the books were burnt down to ashes. And many a childing mother then and newborn baby died. And also the most innocent creatures, the newborn babies, they do not know what is war, why they are fighting, but they were also killed in that brutal war. But things like that, must be at every famous victory. But this old Caspar, he is still so ignorant, and he says that, that these things, they always occur whenever we have a famous victory. And these things are so common if we want to get a good victory. So this is a satirical line that common people, after being suffered, after getting so much of sufferance, they still praise the government and they still praise the war which they had fought. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was won, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. They say it was a shocking sight. The people who were the adults at that time and who could manage to survive in that critical condition of war, they said that it was a shocking sight after the war was won, after the battle was won, it was a shocking sight. For many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. For many thousand bodies were lying rotting in the sun. There were no people who could claim the bodies and who could have a proper cremation ceremony for them. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. And again he says this line that, that these things are always happening whenever we have to get a famous victory, whenever we achieve a victory over a country. Great praise the Duke of Marlborough won, and a good Prince Eugene. Why, it was a very wicked thing, said little Wilhelmine. Nay, nay, my little girl, quoth he, it was a famous victory. Now, he further says, the grandfather further says, great praise the Duke of Marlborough won. These were the leaders, the Duke of Marlborough and Prince Eugene. These were the leaders of the English soldiers. So he said that after winning the battle, Duke of Marlborough was praised and also Prince Eugene was praised for their good leadership. But little Wilhelmine, because of her rational attitude, because of her curious nature, children today are rational. They want to know that why these things are being done. What is the reason behind it? So he said that it was a very wicked thing. It was a very bad thing. Fighting a war is not good at all. We should always find some another options. So she said that it was a very wicked thing, a very bad thing. But still the grandfather, although he was thinking, that's why their pauses are given after nay, nay. He was still thinking that why this girl is saying that it was a very bad thing. It killed so many people, the war killed so many people. But still, what was fed in his mind by the government, by the local authorities, that it was a great thing that they had won a war. So he further said, nay, nay, my little girl, it was a famous victory. So he further says, and everybody praised the Duke who this great fight did win. But what good came of it at last, quoth little Peterkin. Why, that I cannot tell, said he, but it was a famous victory. Everybody praised the Duke of Marlborough. Because of him only this great battle was won by the English soldiers. But now little Peterkin asks, what good came out of it at last? What did you achieve after winning that war? Why, that I cannot tell, said he, but it was a famous victory. The old man says that he could not tell what good came out of that war, but still it was a famous, a great victory, a big victory. So this was all in the explanation of After Blenheim poem. I hope you have understood. If you have liked the video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Share it with your friends so that they may also be able to understand it. If you have any doubts in this poem, in the explanation, then you may always comment and ask me the doubts. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.